up, the Tunga Central Elementary School in the Philippines expresses its gratitude to Tzu Chi. We investigate how plastics end up in the waters and what negative impact it has on our food chain. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Wendy Chen. Thank you for joining us. First up, in the Philippines, in the aftermath of Typhoon Haiyan, Tzu Chi volunteers carried out several free clinics to help the residents of Tacloban. At these free clinics, 12-year-old Noni played an important role, translating for doctors and patients. Later, team of doctors learned that Noni suffers from congenital heart disease and thus decided to arrange further medical examinations for the boy.
This is Noni, who was a translator at Tzu Chi's free clinics during the Typhoon Haiyan relief efforts. Seeing himself in news footage, Noni blushes in pleasure.
This year,
a year ago, my classmate's father taught me English. He's an American.
His affinity with Tzu Chi has given Noni an opportunity to treat his congenital condition, as Tima doctors promised to fly him to Taiwan for treatment.
Come to Taiwan to have a complete study?
Yes, I want to go to Taiwan because that is the beautiful place ever.
Noni was not only born with a deformed breastbone, but also suffers from congenital heart disease. Philippines Tzu Chi volunteers first took him to Manila for a thorough health checkup.
6 years ago, he already went through a health checkup. Since his condition hasn't improved, the doctor said it was risky for him to undergo the surgery.
Besides the difficulty of the surgery, the high medical fees are beyond the means available to Noni's family. To encourage Noni and his family, Tzu Chi volunteers brought medication and daily essentials. Before Noni left for Tacloban, Tzu En and Tzu Ai, who were conjoined twins and underwent successful separation surgery in Taiwan, paid him a visit.
Thank you very much and Merry Christmas. Peace.
Back in Tacloban, Noni shares his blessings from Tzu Chi with other patients. His kind gestures moved many volunteers on site.
Following Typhoon Haiyan, to make sure students have a safe environment to study in, Tzu Chi volunteers quickly mobilized to build prefabricated classrooms at the Tunga Central Elementary School. To express her thanks, the principal of the school happily cooked delicious Filipino dishes for the volunteers. Furthermore, inspired by Tzu Chi's kindness, a little girl donated the only money she had to the Buddhist NGO to help those in greater need.
Buckling up his working belt and putting on a hat, this Tzu Chi volunteer is ready to begin his day at the building site of Tunga Central Elementary School.
Today's goal is to finish building 2 prefabricated classrooms so school can be back in session.
While the volunteers work on the buildings, children happily scrub away any dirt they find on tables and chairs.
I'm very happy because we finally have a classroom to study.
Meanwhile, another group of children are learning to sing a song.
I was inspired to make the song just a sign of thanksgiving, showing that we are very, very much grateful for helping us, for helping Tunga.
Busy cooking at home, this is Amalia, who is the principal of Tunga Central Elementary School. To express her gratitude, she is preparing traditional Filipino dishes for the hardworking volunteers.
I was standing by the window and got really nervous when the wind became stronger. When the school roof got blown away, it felt like a knife was cutting through my heart. I still remember wondering what to do. I thought about the children of my school and I asked myself where they will study in the future.
The roof of the classroom was blown away, so students didn't want to come to school. We tried very hard to encourage them to come because it is important for them to develop good moral values and etiquette at their young age.
Thanks to the hard work of Tzu Chi volunteers and countless locals, the prefabricated classrooms are finally complete. With a curtain in the middle, a prefabricated classroom can accommodate 2 classes.
I am very happy because we can finally reopen our school and children can continue on with their studies.
Children are the pillars of society, and education is the key for them to develop good moral values. While visiting one of the classes, a little girl donates the only money in her pocket to a Tzu Chi volunteer.
Uniform, naka-uniform ako. Ano kaming klaseng tao? Ha? Na ano? Okay. So yung kabilang ano naman, so? Bakit daw?
Dako, okay. Interview ko.
I am truly touched by her kindness. This is my 4th day here at the Tunga Central Elementary School. Every day I interact with these children and they are always willing to help us. When we are done for the day, they will help us pick up any garbage and tidy up the surroundings. I will definitely miss this place.
Now studying in prefabricated classrooms, students can finally pursue their education free from worries. Although currently students only have books that were once waterlogged, they are still very happy. Seeing the hope in the children's eyes, the volunteers say everything has been worthwhile as they know the seeds of love have started to flourish in these children's hearts.
Moving to Myanmar, we meet 12-year-old Tin Tin Han, who showed us the heavy responsibility of caring for her blind mother, deaf grandmother, and younger brother, while her father works to make ends meet. However, thanks to Tzu Chi, Tin Tin Han has been able to remain steadfast in her dream of becoming a doctor.
When I grow up, I want to be a doctor because I want to personally help my mother regain her vision.
Tin Tin Han's life goal is to become a doctor. However, because of her family's situation, she almost gave up on this dream.
I do not have the ability to provide for my children's education because of our financial situation. With Tzu Chi's aid, my children can continue their studies. They receive good grades, and every year they even receive awards.
After school, Tin Tin Han rushes home to cook and do laundry. Despite being just 12 years old, she does not mind being asked to handle such tasks, as she cherishes each moment she gets to spend with her mother.
My peers' mothers are not blind, nor do they have to help their mothers do chores. I love my mother, so I'm happy when I do these chores.
I'm also very happy to have such good children. Life would have been difficult had they been troublesome.
Aside from monetary aid for education, every month, Tzu Chi volunteers provide rice, clothing, personal items, as well as love for this family of 5. With the change Tzu Chi has brought about in her family, Tin Tin Han is now even more determined to achieve her dream.
I must reach my goal. Even if it seems impossible, I will still give it my all.
Marine debris is litter that ends up in our oceans, seas, or other large bodies of water. Of the materials that make up marine debris, plastics are the most abundant form of litter in our ocean. It is estimated that average plastic consumption per person is about 100 kilograms per year. And in recent years, small plastic pellets known as microplastics have been discovered in our oceans and along our shorelines. Just exactly what are they and how did it end up in the ocean? And what effect do these plastic pellets have on our bodies? Let's find out more in our next report.
那塑胶微粒不是塑胶碎片哦，像塑胶碎片的话，就是通常是不规则形状的，但是像这个就是规则形状的，大样的剪完，
先剪完再找塑胶，
最后找塑胶微粒，对。
According to International Coastal Cleanup Taiwan, of the top 5 types of wastes which make up oceanic debris, plastics are the #1 contributor. Today, while doing a coastal cleanup, volunteers come across small rice-like plastic pellets which they have never noticed before.
那塑胶微粒它不是塑胶。
These pellets are not fragments, but raw plastic material, and we often come across them along coastlines and in large quantities. I can imagine that the dispersal of these plastic pellets along Taiwan's coasts or anywhere else in the world must be quite significant.
Yet, how did these raw plastic materials end up on our shores?
去年夏天的时候，到香港的一个韦斯特台风，它吹翻了好几
When
个。
Typhoon Vincent hit Hong Kong last summer, containers loaded with polypropylene pellets spilled into the ocean and were washed up onto Hong Kong's shores. Therefore, it's possible that during the transportation process or with improper handling, these raw materials have found their way into our environment.
环境里面，或者是在进了工厂之后没有处理好，然后呢就流到环境里面去，也是有可能。那我们开始剪吧。
These microplastics have not only been discovered in Taiwan. In 2005, Japanese professor Hideshige Takada established the International Pellet Watch to track this phenomenon.
そういう小さなプラスチックっていうのは
These plastic pellets are about the same size as plankton. If mistakenly ingested by small fish, who are then eaten by larger fish, which are in turn eaten by birds, these plastic pellets can easily make their way into our food chain.
What is worrisome is that these plastic pieces contain a high concentration of persistent organic pollutants, otherwise known as POPs, which include hazardous substances such as polychlorinated bisphenol and DDT. If passed up the food chain, it poses the risk of causing adverse effects to humans, including possible deformities, cancer, or infertility. We humans are the victims, but also the perpetrators. Since the 1950s, the beginning of the plastic era, plastic production has increased by 5 million tons each year. Today, average plastic consumption per capita is about 100 kilograms per year. Concerned about the environmental impact of plastic, Datung University professor Tzu Chi has invested his energies into developing green and biodegradable plastic.
有些塑胶
Certain starch-based plastics contain biodegradable substances, so once they are discarded into the environment, microbial enzymes will break down the plastic.
However, other scholars believe that plastic is not entirely degradable and that it can only break down into smaller parts. Therefore, faced with increased plastic consumption, going forward, our only alternative is to change our lifestyles and be more vigilant in our use of plastics.
Staying in Taiwan in the year of 2000, in response to growing consumer questions on the use and dangers of pesticides, the Council of Agriculture set up an inspection and approval system for the certification of organic agricultural products. Currently, there are over a dozen such organizations helping consumers safely buy organic produce. Today, we meet organic tea farmer Tangkun from Nanto's Yutsu Township, who despite the higher cost of organic farming and the long application process, has remained committed to growing organic tea for the health and satisfaction of his customers.
Tea farmer Tangkun and his son take us to their organic tea fields in Nanto's Yutsu Township. Xu's tea fields have maintained much of the original ecological landscape, and he uses only 1/5 of his total fields to ensure his tea is far away from any possible contamination.
We pick 1 tip and 2 leaves of tea leaves.
At Xu's tea fields, bugs and spiders are commonplace, as he insists on not using pesticides, thus weeds grow high.
The roots of these weeds are thick, so we need to hold them out.
This organic tea field does not use a drop of pesticide. Therefore, the eggs of small green leaf hoppers are everywhere. As you can see, this leaf shows traces of being eaten by larvae.
In organic tea farming, pests are one of the greatest challenges to overcome. However, Tangkun insists on practicing organic farming because of his commitment to the industry and his customers.
I like to drink tea as well. That's when I think how my friends and customers travel long distance to buy my tea. I feel it's my responsibility to make sure our tea is safe to drink.
At 12, Tzu followed in his father's footsteps in tea cultivation. In 2008, his tea farms received official certification for being organic. For a sip of this tea, customers travel long distances to find Tzu at his shop.
The tea he grows tastes natural, soothing, and refreshing.
To make sure members of the public have easy and reliable access to organic tea, Taiwan's Council of Agriculture developed a certification mechanism for organic agricultural products. Currently, there are over 10 organizations providing such certification services. 8 years ago, Zhongxing University set up its own agricultural products approval and certification center to certify organic tea farmers.
We send our inspectors to check the tea farmers' warehouse, documents, factory, as well as the safety and sanitation of their tea processes.
The certification process has 4 phases. First, the certification center sends inspectors to take soil and water samples to check for heavy metal contamination. Second, the inspectors check for pesticide exposure in tea leaves, soil, fertilizers, and the environment of the tea fields. After applicants pass the previous 2 phases, the center will give out a temporary license. If they pass the following 3 years of regular inspections, applicants will be granted an official organic tea certification. However, inspectors will continue to check on tea production on a yearly basis. Thanks to this certification mechanism, members of the public can enjoy organic tea with peace of mind, knowing that they are drinking the real thing.
In China's Hubei province, there are currently some 170 Tzu Chi volunteers in the city of Wuhan, many of whom joined the organization after participating in winter aid distributions or scholarship aid programs. Some of these volunteers also met Tzu Chi at the Wuhan DaFang School, where students and teachers have been inspired to commit themselves to weekly recycling events. Let's take a look. Warmly greeting every guest they meet, students at the Wuhan DaFang School are ready to begin their day. This class of 4th graders is not studying English or mathematics, but Tzu Chi's Jingsi aphorisms.
那你们相不相信温情和爱是会传递的呀？相信。
This teacher hopes that her students will learn the positive message behind these video clips.
Have you done anything previously to inspire others to do good deeds?
When other students drop their chopsticks on the ground, we pick them up.
We worked hard to sort recyclables and inspire other students to join us.
Let's give him a round of applause.
The positive influence of these Jingsi aphorisms can also be witnessed in the students' interaction with one another.
The aphorisms teach us to live in harmony with each other.
Knowing the importance of moral education, teacher Shi Haizhen seizes every opportunity to impress these words of wisdom in the minds of her students.
The students' curriculum is already packed, so giving them a class on Jingsi aphorisms like we did today is in fact quite difficult.
Apart from Jingsi aphorisms, Si also promotes recycling concepts at school. Inside the classroom in Dafang School, teachers are learning about environmentalism and sharing ideas with each other.
Basically, many teachers now place recycling bins inside their classrooms so that the students will be able to sort recyclables at school.
At first, the students waited to pick up the water bottles their parents were drinking and then sold them. Later, they just asked the parents not to buy bottled drinks.
Tzu Chi volunteers and teachers all hope to pass on this knowledge to their students, who will in turn inspire their family members to make a difference. Tzu Chi seeds of love have flourished here at the Dafang School and will no doubt continue to grow strong and tall. End of the year is a time when Tzu Chi volunteers worldwide are holding year-end blessing ceremonies, and one such event was recently held in Malaysia's Johor Bahru. To ensure the smooth running of the ceremony, volunteers had already started their preparations 2 months prior, including the rehearsals of sign language performances and the making of blessing and wisdom red envelopes.
An enactment of the Dharma ship kicks off this year's year-end blessing ceremony in Johor Bahru. Tzu Chi volunteers put on the musical adaptation of Vow to Action, followed by Fulfill My Dreams and Pondering My Karmic Interactions.
Volunteers have been very devoted to this event, and they, in their actions, reflect the spirit of Tzu Chi.
2 months ago, Johor Bahru Tzu Chi volunteers started their regular rehearsals of the sign language performance. Sign language instructor Xu Qiulin, despite living miles away from the rehearsal venue, also did her best to make it to each rehearsal.
It's a half-an-hour trip from my home to Pontian and another hour to Johor Bahru. So in total, it's about 3 hours to travel back and forth. However, once you're determined, nothing is impossible. Just do it.
The story of Venerable Jianzhen teaches us that whatever difficulties we encounter, we just do our best to overcome them.
To help audience members better understand Venerable Jianzhen's spirit, these 2 volunteers shaved their head to show their determination.
Actually, as long as you can play a role in Tzu Chi, that's a blessing already.
Determination, 法心啊。
Venerable Jianzhen's determination and devotion is something we need to learn. I'm very impressed by his spirit.
At this year-end blessing ceremony, volunteers not only seize the chance to show their love to the members of their Tzu Chi family, but also pray for the harmony of all sentient beings.
We go to China at the end of today's program. Tzu Chi volunteers in Shanghai and Guangdong both recently held recycling events in their local communities. Despite the temperature being only 5 degrees, volunteers and residents braved the cold to sort recyclables to safeguard the planet. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.